So I'm going to download this. And then we'll do a little extraction here. And let me move this over here. First thing we want to do is open it up and run a build. So I'm going to open it using Program CS, or not Program CS, excuse me, Solution. And I did not want to do that. We'll try it again. There we go. And let me pull it over here. I'm going to go ahead and run a build. Sometimes when you download, not everything that the program needs is on GitHub. So running a build kind of pulls in some libraries and other things that might not be there. And my build did succeed. And so if we look here, you can see there are migrations. And if we look at the models, we have quite a few models, but I do not see application DB context. So we don't have identity as part of this project, which makes creating the database a little simpler because the migrations are there. All we have to do is key in update database. Oops, and of course you have to spell it right. Now, if this command does not work, my guess is that you may already have a database called Music Store DB. And if that is the case, just make this unique, put a 1 in there or something like that, and then do your build and do update database again, because it should create the database for you. Once the database is created, then you can go ahead and run the app. And it should look something like this. And you'll notice artists are populated. Albums are populated. Genres. Customers are not. Okay, and all the other screens should have data in them. Okay, so this is how it looks. And what we're going to do is make a little modification to the artist's index action method. So we're going to be affecting how this screen looks. And we want them to be able to sort by the artist's name in either ascending or descending order. Okay, so we're going to go back into our music store. I'm going to stop the running app. And then I'm going to go into my artist controller. And I'm going to pause just a minute. Well, actually, this shouldn't take too long. What I'm going to be changing is the index action method. So let's find our index action method. And this looks like it. And so I'm going to say if artist sort is a 2, then I'm going to return view. And you'll notice that context is created up here. We've got music context And then we've got a context object that basically represents the data from our database. And this is private, which is why it's got the underscore. And then we've got a public definition of context, and we're setting that equal to the private, which gives us the accessibility. And so we've got context.artists, okay, which is our table. If we look over in our context file, you can see that artists is the name of the table. And then it's got to list. And you'll notice that async is kind of tacked on. And that just means that it's asynchronous, that we don't have to sit in a wait state, that the CPU can work on other things, you know, if the database is busy. So we're going to modify that a little bit because we want to sort in descending order. So we've got context.artists dot. This is where we want to say order by descending. And these are link commands. So this should look somewhat familiar to you guys. Okay. And then we need to tell it that we're going to sort by name. So that is saying if they enter a 2, we're going to sort by descending, name in descending order. Else if artist sort is equal to 1. I'm just going to copy this. And then we're going to do an else. And let's do another paste. So we need to make a couple adjustments. If they enter a 1, we're going to do ascending order. So it's not order by descending, it's just order by. And then if they don't enter anything, then we're just going to send it to the view unsorted. So we're going to take this out. Okay. And then it's flagging artist sort because we haven't added it to the parameters yet. So up in the parameter list, we need to say integer artist sort equals 0, which is our default. So that wouldn't be a 1 or a 2. It would end up going to the view unsorted. Okay, so let me save this. So we've added this to the controller. But in order for them to be able to key in the numbers 1 or 2 and change the sort order, we have to add the endpoint to program CS. And we do that with map controller route. So this is going to be more specific than the default. So we're going to put it above the default. But I'm a lazy typist, so I'm going to actually copy the default and modify it. All right, so here we've got 2 defaults, and now I'm going to change this one. So this is sort underscore artist. And I'm going to put a little comment in here just to help other people that look at this file. If the ID is a 0, it's not sorted. If the ID is a 1, then it's sorted in ascending order. And if the ID is a 2, it's sorted in descending. Okay, so that just kind of tells them what the values are going to mean. And then the pattern here the controller is the artist controller. That's where we added the code. And the action method is the index action method. And then here, instead of ID, we're going to put in artist sort. And that matches what we have here. Okay. So they're connected. So I'm going to save this. And I could run it, but the view, let's see. Oh, the album controller. Well, we need to make another little change. We can run this and see what it does at this point. This should work. Okay, so if we key this in and we do /artist index 1. Okay, so that should have sorted it. Now let's do a 2. Okay, and you should have seen that now is in reverse. Let me go back to 1. Okay, and if I do a 0 or nothing, it just comes in a non-sorted order. Okay, so that is working. Now we are going to make another little modification. This is in the album controller. And let's take a look at albums. So we just dealt with artists. Now let's look at albums. For albums, we want to be able to sort by artist or genre. So we're going to do something similar that would, it's going to be a little more complicated because we're going to allow them to enter values that can sort by 1 or 2 columns. Okay, so the complicated part of this is going to be in the controller itself. So let's go into our album controller. And it's the index action method that we're going to change. So right now, the index action method is fairly simple. And you can see that it's passing artist and genre. So because it is kind of passing the data based on those 2 columns, it'll be pretty easy for us to change the sort order of those columns using our LINQ commands. So we'll go ahead and enter our parameters because we already know that we are going to allow them to enter a value for artist sort, and we'll set the default to 0, and genre sort. We'll set the default there to 0. Okay, and now what we need is a fairly long nested if statement. So we're going to say if the artist sort is equal to 1 and the genre sort is equal to 0, which means that we're not going to be sorting by genre. We are going to be sorting by artist. Okay, and so then we're going to have a return statement. And in the return statement is where we are going to be doing some of that sorting. So we're returning a view, and we are going to be passing it data. And let's see, do we have something we can copy? I believe we can copy this. Obviously, it will be modified, but we're going to return the view, and the context dot albums is right, dot include artist is right, but now after artist, we need dot order by. And then we need to order it by the artist's name. And we are not sorting genre, so that can just be a regular old include. And we are going to send this to a list. Now, I should only have 2 over there. Do I have 3? Okay. Alrighty. Okay, sort. Oh, okay. I need a dot artist. And we don't put name in. All right, fixing my problem here. So we've got a dot artist, which matches here. That's what we're sorting by. And then we are including the genre. All right, that is correct. Else if. All right, so what we want on this one, so the last one we sorted in ascending order by artist, and we did not sort genre. So this check is going to be, we are not sorting the artist, and we are sorting the genre. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this return statement, and obviously we're going to have to modify the order by. So for this one, the order by needs to go away because we are not sorting artist, but we are sorting genre. So we need to add the order by for genre. And for genre, I can pick the ID or the name. And I specifically want the name. All right, now we've got include a dot genre, order by, name, sending it to a list. That should be okay. Let me see what it says. I think it's saying that genre could be null. The name could be null, but I believe it's just a warning. So we're going to ignore it. Now we're going to move on. And this next one is the artist. Sort is going to be in descending order. And the genre is not going to be sorted. And so I'm going to pause. I think you guys are getting the hang of this. So I think that should be genre sort. And let's see, artist sort is genre sort. It's 0. I'm going to pause and finish typing this. All right, so I've got this little structure in here. And for this last one, so if they haven't specified any sorting order, then I'm just going to send it what it originally had. So I'm taking that original and sending it there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and run a build, make sure I don't have an error. That was a lot of typing. All right, so it did succeed. So now I'm going to go over to Program CS, and I'm going to add another map controller route. So let me copy this. And this is going to be called sort album. And then add a comment here. So you can sort by artist or genre. We're not going to allow sorting by both. And so here, if the sort is a 0, not sorted. Otherwise, if the sort is a 1, it's going to be sorted in ascending. Or if the sort is a 2, it's going to be sorted in descending. And our pattern is now the controller is album. We're still dealing with the index action method. We've got artist sort with the question mark. And then we're also going to have genre sort with a question mark. And again, these names are mapping over to what we called our parameters here. So let's run a build, save everything. And let's test this out. So we've already tested artist. And what we need to test is album. So for album, it was album slash index slash. And if we do this, it should sort by artist. And if we do this, okay. And then if we go back to 1, and if we do a 0 and a 1 here, we are now sorting by genre. We do 2. And if we do nothing, it's not sorting, or we're not sending it sorted. And if we do a 0/0, should be no different because it's not being sorted. And remember, for artists, we already kind of tested this, but we did slash index in 1. We did a 2. And then we did a nothing for the unsorted.